There are an estimated 47 million of these people in corporate America right now. You probably work with one. You're born as a child who loves structure, not the structure of a treehouse or a Lego castle, the structure of a Gantt chart for a lemonade stand. Your first sentence is a question. The question is, what's the blocker? The pediatrician marks this down as a developmental anomaly. Your parents think you're a genius. Your first grade teacher asks you to organize the pencil bin. You do it by color, length, and sharpness. You create a Kanban board using construction paper. You label the columns new, in use, and stubby. You are 6. This is not a phase. Childhood is a series of ceremonies. You don't have a birthday party. You have a sprint planning session for your birthday party. You create a user story for the cake. As a birthday attendee, I want chocolate cake so that I can enjoy a celebratory dessert. You estimate the cake cutting at 3 story points. You ask your 7-year-old friends for their velocity. They do not know what that means. You get frustrated. The party ends with you alone, updating a Trello board for a party that has already happened. Your parents watch from the kitchen. Your mom whispers to your dad, "I think he might be a middle manager." Your dad says, "At least he's organized." In middle school, group projects are your time to shine. Other kids argue about who does what. You facilitate. You say, "Let's timebox this discussion." You pull out a kitchen timer. You ask the group to define a definition of done for the diorama of the solar system. You suggest a daily stand-up before first period. The other kids stop inviting you to their groups. You are assigned to work alone. You consider this a victory. You have 0 dependencies. You have peace of mind. You build the best diorama. It is perfect, modular, and documented. You get an A. You feel nothing. Join the debate team, not to debate topics, to critique the format. You propose the club adopts Scrum. You suggest each argument be a sprint with research as backlog grooming. The coach asks you to leave. You create a postmortem on the experience. You conclude the team was not agile enough. You present your findings to the chess club. They are also not agile enough. You start a blog. It is called The Iterative Teenager. Your only subscriber is your grandmother. She thinks it's a cooking blog. She asks for a recipe. You send her a flowchart for making toast. And just like that, you reach the most insufferable period of being a Scrum Master. You're a teenage Scrum Master. Puberty hits other people. It does not hit you. You channel everything into process optimization. You create a sprint for applying to college. You break get into Stanford down into 87 subtasks. The first subtask is become legacy applicant. You are not a legacy applicant. You pivot. You decide to monetize your skills. You offer to run family retrospectives for your friends' households. For $20, you get 0 takers. Tag a former teen process obsessive you know in the comments. They need this. You apply to college. Your S is not about adversity or passion. It's a case study on applying Scrum principles to optimize your morning routine. You get waitlisted at every school except one. A small state school with a robust business information systems program. You major in it. You minor in organizational leadership. Your dorm room is a shrine to efficiency. You have a burned-on chart for your semester credits. You run daily scrums with your roommate about taking out the trash. He moves out after 3 weeks. You do a retrospective on the experience. You conclude the main impediment was his lack of commitment to the team agreement. You graduate, you get a certificate, not just any certificate. A certified Scrum Master credential from the Scrum Alliance. You frame it. You hang it in your cubicle at your first job at a mid-tier insurance company. Your title is Junior Business Analyst. Your soul is Scrum Master. You attend every meeting. You take notes not on what is said, but on how the meeting is run. You send follow-up emails with bullet points on improving timekeeping. Your manager tells you to focus on the requirements documents. You nod. You create a Jira ticket to track your progress on focusing on the requirements documents. You assign it to yourself. You set the priority to highest. And then you become an adult with the facilitation genes in full bloom. You land your dream job. The title is Scrum Master. The company is a SaaS startup that sells AI-powered paperclip software. Your first act is to rename the conference rooms. They are no longer Aspen and Bristol. They are sprint planning, daily stand-up, and retrospective. The developer's groan. You hear this as a valuable impediment to surface. You schedule a meeting to discuss the groaning. The meeting is 30 minutes. You timebox it. Only 2 people show up. You take detailed notes. You action item yourself to build buy-in. You create a Confluence page about the importance of room-nomming conventions. Your daily stand-ups are legendary, not for their efficiency, for their duration. You believe in the power of conversation. A 15-minute time box is a suggestion. You ask probing questions. When you said you're working on the database, could you elaborate on the specific schema migration? Is it idempotent? The junior developer starts crying. You note this as an emotional blocker. You suggest the team add an emotional health column to the sprint board. The product manager privately messages you on Slack to stop. You reply, "Let's take this offline." You schedule a one-on-one to discuss the feedback about the one-on-one. Subscribe so you can keep crying about people you've definitely met. You discover the true meaning of your power, the retrospective. Other people see a meeting. You see a sacred space for continuous improvement. You bring out the sticky notes. You bring out the markers. You bring out the sailboat template. The team just shipped a major bug to production. The website is down. Everyone is stressed. You ask them to write down what went well. A developer throws a marker. It misses you. You add marker safety to the parking lot. You facilitate a vote on whether to use mad, sad, glad, or start, stop, continue. The vote deadlocks. You suggest a spike to research better retrospective formats. The engineering manager leaves to go fix the website. You become obsessed with metrics. Velocity is your love language. Burned on charts are your art. You install a monitor in the team area that shows real-time story point completion. It updates every 15 minutes. It demoralizes everyone. A developer changes the data source to display pictures of puppies. You discover this. You call an emergency meeting about data integrity. The meeting is at 5 p.m. on a Friday. One person dials in from their car. You take attendance. You note the low engagement as a systemic issue. You create a tiger team to address it. The tiger team's first action is to disable the monitor. Personal life adopts the framework. You don't go on dates. You run stakeholder interviews. You create a weighted decision matrix to evaluate potential partners on criteria like shared vision, capacity for vulnerability, and willingness to timebox arguments. Your Hinge profile bio says, "Seeking a co-pilot for life sprint reviews." You get 0 matches. You consider this valuable data. You pivot. You decide to focus on your personal backlog. You groom your life goals. You break find happiness into epics, then stories, then tasks. The first task is define happiness. You schedule a 3-hour meeting with yourself. You are both the facilitator and the attendee. You order a pizza for one. At work, you achieve your magnum opus. You implement Scrum at scale. You have a Scrum of Scrums. You have a Meta Scrum. You have a Scrum of Scrums. The organizational chart becomes a fractal of circles and arrows. You print it on a plotter. It is 12 feet long. You present it to leadership. They ask what problem it solves. You say it solves the problem of not having a Scrum of Scrums. They nod slowly. You are given a new project, a very important project. You are asked to document the process for ordering office snacks. You accept. You create a multi-stage approval workflow with gates and checkpoints. The team starts bringing their own snacks. You become a conference speaker. Your talk is titled Synergy Through Ceremony, a Quantitative Analysis. You present it at a regional Agile meetup. There are 9 people in the audience. 6 are waiting for the free pizza. 2 are lost. 1 is your mother. She films the entire thing on an iPad. You consider it a success. You upload the video to LinkedIn. You get 3 likes, all from other Scrum Masters. You network aggressively in the comments of other people's posts. You always ask, what was the biggest blocker? No one ever replies. Cope in the comments if your LinkedIn feed is just this. Years pass, you are 34, the industry moves on. New frameworks emerge. Spotify model, shape up, DevOps. You attend a webinar about something called no meetings. It triggers an existential crisis. You get a job at a large, stable corporation. Your title is changed to Agile Coach. Your team is distributed across 4 time zones. Your primary tool is now a Miro board that never loads. Your daily stand-up is a pre-recorded video everyone watches on mute at double speed. You send a weekly newsletter titled The Iteration. It has an open rate of 0.2%. That 0.2% is the IT spam filter. You try to date again. You meet someone on Bumble. They work in marketing. You explain your job. You say you help teams deliver value iteratively. They ask for an example. You describe the snack ordering process. They excuse themselves to go to the bathroom. They do not return. You get the check. You run a personal retrospective on the date. You identify a key learning. You led with process instead of value. You create an action item. Lead with value next time. You are not sure what your value is. You add define personal value to your backlog. It remains in the icebox for 6 years. You are 47. The company undergoes a reorg. Your role is synergized. You are moved to a center of excellence. The center is a SharePoint site. Your excellence is not required. You spend your days updating Jira tickets about updating Jira tickets. You have a weekly one-on-one with your manager. You ask for feedback. They say you are a process champion. You ask what that means. They say it means you really care about process. You schedule a follow-up to define actionable next steps from that feedback. They decline the meeting. You send a calendar invite anyway. It is tentatively accepted by their automated assistant. You take up gardening. You apply Scrum to it. You call your tomato plants the team. You hold daily stand-ups by the raised bed. You ask the tomatoes about their blockers. They do not answer. You note this as a communication impediment. You create a stakeholder map involving sunlight, water, and soil pH. Your neighbor asks what you're doing. You explain you're facilitating value delivery for Solanum lycopersicum. He stops asking. Your tomatoes die. You hold a blameless retrospective. You conclude the process was sound, but the team lacked commitment. You are 55. You take early retirement. Your farewell gift is a digital picture frame. It is not loaded with pictures. It displays a looping GIF of the company logo. You go home. You try to relax. You cannot. You miss the ceremonies. You miss the boards. You start running Scrum for your household. You hold a sprint planning with your cat to determine the week's nap locations. The cat does not attend. You write the minutes anyway. You create a burn-down chart for your laundry. You estimate folding socks at 5 story points. It feels right. You die peacefully in your sleep at age 78. Your last thought is, I wonder what the retro would show. Your legacy is a single Confluence page. It is titled Best Practices for Interdepartmental Syncs Draft. It has 2 views, both are from you checking for typos. The page is archived during a data migration 3 years after your death. No one notices. The link to it remains in the footer of 100 other forgotten pages. It returns a 404 error. The error page has no ceremony. It has no facilitator. It is just a message. Page not found. It is the most efficient communication of your life's work. All jokes aside, these are exaggerations. Internet caricatures born on social media and spread like wildfire. Yes, the frustration with overzealous process enforcement is real, but turning Scrum Master into a universal punchline reduces real people to a single stereotype. Most Agile coaches and Scrum Masters are dedicated professionals trying to help teams navigate complex work, often acting as buffers against poor management and unrealistic deadlines. Behind every meme is a real person doing their best, often caught between the idealism of a framework and the messy reality of human collaboration. So laugh at the absurdity, but remember that the goal was always to help people build things better, even if the path there got covered in too many sticky notes.